Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Karen, and today I will be sharing with you all of the ways I stay physically organized in college. I say physically because I don't really know how to organize my thoughts and feelings, so once I figure out the mental health part of the student life experience, then I will definitely share some tips with you on that. Anyway, I have two major categories for staying organized in college, and that's general scheduling and organizing, and the other is files, handouts, and notes. I'll include links in the description to the timestamps of each of the categories and the subcategories, so you can go ahead and skip through this video. Everything that I will be sharing in this video are all tips and techniques that I personally use and all work very well for me. So go ahead and tweak any of these tips and methods so you can create the best system of organization for you in college. With that, let's just go ahead and get started. The first category is scheduling and organizing. I actually have my laptop in front of me so I can look at this while you guys are looking at it as well. So in terms of scheduling and organizing, there are two ways you can go ahead and do that. You have the apps and the digital route, or you have your actual paper planner route. I personally use both. It depends on what kind of week it is. I notice that when I am having a very busy week, I tend to stick more with the digital side of things because it's a lot faster and easier. It's just there whenever you need it. Whereas if you're carrying around a planner, it's a little bit on the bulkier side. It's not like Google Calendar or Google Apps, which I will be talking about, where you can just pull it up on your phone, but a paper planner is very nice to have. It's one of my personal favorite methods, but the digital route is a lot easier to go. Like, major thing that I use is Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you what 1 week in college looked like for me. It looks kind of scary. I was taking 18 credit hours this past semester, and I have been since I started college, and I absolutely hate taking 18 credit hours, but it has to be done. This was one particular fun weekend. So on my Google Calendar, all of my classes are organized by color. So science is green, history is blue, Spanish is red, and English is purple. I think English should actually be yellow, but I don't really like the yellow on here. All of my meetings and any other stuff are just in the general blue that pops up when you add something into Google Calendar. So as you can see, all of my classes are there, which is really nice because I get a alert 10 minutes before class starts that class is about to start. And there have been a few times where I forgot that I was in an English class because my English class is at 12, but it often got canceled, or we just didn't have class one day, and I would keep forgetting about that class, and I would have my notifications on, and thank God I did. So as you can see, I had 5 meetings, as well as work scheduled in, and then I had an exam this week. But also that weekend I had my friend's swim meet, and I went to Greenville to meet a candidate for the congressional district, and I had a meeting that night. And then that following week I've also had some meetings and some other fun things. But Google Calendar is great because you can schedule in all of your classes and everything that you need. You can create anything from an event, a reminder, or appointment slots. Also, the really cool thing about Google Calendar is that you can actually link your Google Keep with your Google Calendar. So if you press this button over here, your Google Keep pops up, and I like to use the checkmark feature because it's just like a to-do list. You can go ahead and click, you can pull up Google Keep in a separate folder or a separate tab. Sometimes if I'm going to a coffee shop, I'll specifically write Pharmacy Coffee, which is the name of the shop, and I'll write my to-do list for the coffee shop, or even Starbucks. So I use Google Calendar and Google Keep because it's all there digitally, and you can literally log into any device and it'll all be there. If you use specific apps from the App Store, then you can only use it on one device. I don't know. It's a lot easier to keep track of, and I can pull it up on my laptop and on my phone, and it'll refresh and update automatically. So this is my planner for this school year right now, and this is my planner from last school year. This says Jammin' on my planner. Let's see if I can move the sticker. So September of last school year was a very, very busy one. As you can see, I literally had almost every day filled up with some sort of appointment or meeting or project for a class. This is what my planner looked like at the beginning of the year. This is what April looked like. I was really good at organizing by color. So blue was for meetings, pink was for important dates, this yellowish color was for quizzes and exams, and then important due dates were in this reddish pink color. But I really like using my planner this way, and I personally prefer using this planner from Amazon. All right, so I have two examples of my planner from last school year of how I stayed organized. So here particularly, I used a lot of to-do lists for the week. I didn't really schedule out my classes or anything like that. And even at the top, I included some like goals that I wanted for the week, including like get out of bed by 7:30 and finish a book. I don't know if I actually completed them, but I had them there. And another example is where I actually like planned out my day. This particular week, I had a lot of things going on because it was Pride Week and I was doing a lot of stuff for council. I scheduled things in by color as well, highlighted important things, and I timed out my day by the hour. So that was freshman year. This is what this year looks like so far. So this is what my planner from this year so far looks like. I wanted something very easy where I can like view the months. And so if I just opened it up, then I can pull up to September 2019 and then October and November. I did not have as much time this year to like sit down and use fancy colors and really organize them. So instead I kind of just like highlighted them very quickly and just highlighted the very important things as well. I absolutely love using my planner, but like I said, I really only use this if I have the time to, but I do find that the digital version of a planner is very, very handy. All right, so now we are going to discuss how I keep all of my handouts and like loose leaf papers and handwritten notes all organized. I'm showing you a lot of freshman year stuff because like I have all of that stuff here at home during winter break, but I have some first semester stuff here as well. When it comes to lecture notes, I like to write those out all in separate notebooks. So luckily for my history class, I knew ahead of time if it was strictly just a lecture-based class that day or lecture and discussion or just a discussion class. So some days I would just pull up to class with my notebook. Some days I would pull up with my whole binder, but on days I pulled up with just my notebook were my favorite days because I love lecture-based classes. I just absolutely love history. That is why I'm a history major. Anyway, I can go on and on about history. So this is what my history notes typically look like in class. At the top, I have the date, the header, and some class announcements that my professor may have shared with us. Just the one thing I wanted to share is that my notes for each of my classes are separated into different notebooks, and these are like those cheap Walmart ones. I do prefer dotted notebooks for my science classes though, and I will show you what that looks like. So this is one of those like cheap dotted notebooks from Walmart. It works really, really well. I absolutely loved it. I don't like the binding to this particular notebook. It's one of those like glued in ones, but this is what my notes in my science classes typically look like. Also, to help me stay organized in biology, I would label my notebooks with these post-it notes. So this pink, anything in pink was exam 2 material, anything in between these green ones were exam 3, and then here I just have labels for my lab exam. So I guess we moved on into like the next subcategory of handouts, files, and handwritten notes, but I do keep binders for each of my classes because none of my professors are purely digital. I hate to say it. This was a very lecture heavy class. So up front I have a syllabus in a plastic cover thing with the schedule first and then the syllabus, and then I printed out the PowerPoints for this class, and so it is, I think it's organized by like the PowerPoints that we went through in class. I printed them out and I took notes directly onto the PowerPoints. I barely took notes for this class, which is probably why I didn't do as well as I thought I would do. But in the back I have like exams and quizzes for the class. This binder does not have divider tabs, but it works the same exact way. I just know that all my PowerPoints are up in the front, and then the quizzes and exams are in the back. The divider tabs are not labeled, but this was for my history class that I showed you the notebook for. This stuff right here was all given to me on the last day of classes, so I really did not need to like include them into the divider tabs because I was never going to open this again. But up front we just have loose leaf paper in addition to the notebook that was up front here, the syllabus and schedule. And then here we have lecture outlines that my professor so kindly provided. I absolutely love her. Discussion notes that we've had for class. This is like in-class assignments. And here we have quizzes and exams. My bio and history binder, they're organized the same exact way, just one was without a divider tabs, this one had divider tabs. All right, so the last subsection of like organization in college that I do want to touch on is folders. And I don't know what video it was, but I did say in a video one time that I just don't understand how people can use folders instead of binders or anything like that. But I mean, I know I was like crapping on folders, but I do use folders every now and then, and more specifically for my English and my freshman class that I was a peer mentor for. So in English, we got a lot of loose leaf papers that I would just like throw in my bag or throw into the folder that I needed or that I needed for the class. And then a lot of the times I did staple in a lot of the papers. Hopefully that gives you a better insight into how I stay physically organized for school. I typically use anywhere between a 1 and a 1.5 inch binder for each of my classes. If it's a very lecture heavy based class with a lot of PowerPoints, I will use probably a bigger binder, but I happen to have a lot of room in between my classes to go ahead and switch out my binders and like chill out in my room for a hot second. And thank God our campus is just small enough where it takes only 2 minutes for me to walk to class. So that is why I am able to use 1-inch binders. I know people at larger universities don't have the time to go back to their rooms and like actually switch out their binders. So I think maybe a folder-based system or a notebook with pockets like this one may work better for those who are at larger universities. But also if you are very unsure of which way to go in terms of the digital planning or the physical planning, this is not that expensive. Highly suggest this one. I totally prefer the vertical layouts rather than the horizontal ones because I want to be able to plan out my day by the hour every now and then, and this just happens to have like the hours laid out for you already. So I highly suggest this planner, and I will link it down below. Not sponsored, should be, but not sponsored. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something new and will be able to use for your educational experience. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe. I have new videos coming your way very soon. Bye everyone.